guys, it's Miss Moomey again. I'm back to give you a fun drawing class today. We've been talking a lot about how to draw this year. We might have drawn together where I showed you how to draw things like Mr. Grinch or a dog or whatever it is that we've drawn together this year. So I'm going to show you how to draw a bunny today because of course it's Easter. This might be a little advanced drawing, so I've got a simple project and a little more complicated project for those that may feel like they're not ready to draw a bunny, so it's up to you. So first of all, in my class we've always talked about different types of lines and different types of shapes, and if you know lines and shapes, then you can draw just about anything if you can break it down into lines and shapes. So let's talk about lines first, just to refresh you a little bit. Here's the word lines. Now we've got different types of lines. We talked about side-to-side lines or horizontal lines, straight lines. We've also got vertical lines or up and down lines. And when you do these, you can draw one, you can draw three, you can draw them close together, far apart, you can make them thick, thin, you can change them up any way you want. Now there's some more complicated ones like diagonal lines that are slanted. There's zigzag lines that are kind of like slanted lines put together. Those are good to make mountains with or rough, pointy things with. There's wavy lines, more for like making water or just cool patterns. Let's see, what other lines am I missing? What about the spiral line that looks kind of like a curl? Those are good too. So these are just some basic lines to have in mind to be able to put together to draw other things. So now that we talked about lines, let's talk about shapes. Now, once you put together those lines, you can create shapes. And this is where you guys are getting really smart on how many lines it creates to make a shape. So maybe if I take 3 lines, 2 slanted ones, and a horizontal line, I can create a triangle. Or if I take 1 line, go all the way around and meet back, I get a circle. 4 lines create 2 short ones, 2 long ones make a rectangle. 4 lines about the same are a square. Then there's other shapes like a star or a heart. So just some basic shapes we've talked about this year. You can make more complicated shapes like a 5-sided pentagon or 6-sided hexagon, 8-sided octagon. So you know your shapes and you've been practicing drawing them, so this is a good chance to really work on those. So we're going to jump into, I'm going to show you a little more about drawing and then we're going to jump right into our project. Before we jump into our projects, I want to show you a little bit on how I practice drawing at home so that you can have a good idea of how to do it yourself. My 5th graders just made sketchbooks at school, if you were able to take those home before we left, and that's a really good place for you to practice drawing. I know in class you talk about journaling. Journaling and having a sketchbook for art can go hand in hand. So I wanted to show you some of my sketchbooks that I've worked on through the years, and the one I'm working on now. I've got a smaller book. These come from Walmart. They're not really expensive, but they're heavy bound, which is nice because the paper won't come out. You're not meant to take the paper out of these. You're meant to save your artwork as you draw. So a good example, I drew these at the beginning. And I've got some ideas in here that I had for school and stuff like that. So this is a really handy little book for that. I can take this with me since it's small too, but it's really awesome to have a sketchbook. Then there's I've had this one that I've had for a long time. I actually cut out pictures out of magazines and I put Christmas cards in here if I liked the images so that I could save those images and maybe I could even go back and practice drawing those images. So, like, there's a peacock right there because I thought this picture was so beautiful and that it really inspired me. And that one day it might inspire me to go back and try it myself. So, here's another type of sketchbook. You can put all those things into one. This is a sketchbook I've been working on recently. Since I guess we started last year, me and my two daughters all got a sketchbook and decided we were going to use them for a journal. So journaling just basically means that you can get inside your book each day or once a week and maybe write about how your day's going, or maybe write about a special event, or draw some pictures that go along with that special event. So it's a cool way to save your ideas and your memories. So my first page is all about me. And then I did like a family tree and what I'm grateful for. My birthday and some other birthdays I know. And some stuff about art and being a teacher. One of the best pages I've done probably was our trip to New York, and so I started drawing on our trip actually, and I made a little timeline as you go of what we did while we were in New York, so I can look back at this one day so I won't forget what all we did. It was a good thing to do too while we were on the plane or waiting for certain things. Also, another good thing to do would be to make a monthly page. Like January, this was 2019, and it's cold then, so I drew snowmen to go with the month. And so you can color these pages in. Here's when I passed my bus exam to be able to be a bus driver, and notice I used a lot of color on this. So if you find the right markers, there's certain markers that don't go through the paper as much as others. I like to use Sharpie, a Sharpie pen in mine, but you can use whatever kind of paper. You can use pencil, you can use drawing pencils, you can use color pencils, markers, crayons. You can paint in your book as long as you let it dry before you shut it. There's all sorts of things you can try. So the more you put in there, the more special your book's going to be to you. And the one that we made in 5th grade, I'm hoping that you'll be able to use it and journal some while you're at home. Alrighty, on to the fun part. Let's do some drawing. Alright, like I said, this Sunday is Easter, so of course we're thinking Easter eggs and we're thinking the Easter Bunny. So I thought it'd be fun to draw. The Easter egg is a little more simple, but notice we're using lines and shapes and patterns on these projects. They're real simple. So, and I was hoping that you could do this at home real easily with just paper, and you can use a pen. I'm using a black Sharpie so you can see it, but maybe you might want to use markers or crayons. It's up to you what you want to use. So let's start with the egg. The egg is a pretty easy shape. You're probably thinking eggs are actually hard to draw because it's not a perfect circle and it's not really a perfect oval either. So what I would start with is, as I like to say, a smiley face. I'm going to draw towards you. So that's the bottom of my egg. And then I'm going to draw a nice big rainbow to connect it. Look, I have a perfect Easter egg shape. They're kind of more pointy at the top and more rounded at the bottom. So what I did on my Easter egg over here, I just drew patterns and lines all over my Easter egg. You can draw whatever kind of patterns and lines you like on yours. So maybe side-to-side lines, like we talked about. You can do as many as you want. Maybe up and down lines. Maybe wavy lines. Maybe I'll make some shapes in here. I'll use some circles. Maybe a zigzag. Notice I'm kind of drawing my lines kind of on a curve, not perfectly straight. That's what makes my Easter egg look more rounded instead of flat. If I had drawn these lines perfectly straight across, my egg won't look round. So I thought I might want to make it look more realistic. So zigzag lines. which are also slanted diagonal lines. And then you can go from there. Be creative. Create some cool design of your own. There's also the spiral lines that you could use if you want to use those somewhere. Or maybe, I know a lot of you really like hearts. Maybe you might want to add some hearts on there. The best part is going to be when you go back and you add color to it. Because I left mine black and white. They almost look like a coloring page when I'm done. So you need to go back and add some really nice color. Use markers, crayons, color pencils, whatever you have around. Now I'm going to go through, I'm going to show you how to do the bunny next. The cool thing is this is a video, so you can stop and rewind and start over if you need to. That's not something Miss Moomey is easy to do during class. So, alright, so this time we're going to do the bunny. And keep in mind, I'm drawing upside down, so I'm going to start with his nose first. It's not a perfect circle or a perfect oval, but I want to make sure it's not too big, about the size of my fist, in the middle of the page, so I still have enough room for the head and especially the ears. So I'm going to go from his nose, I'm going to draw the shape of his face. It is not a perfect circle either. It's kind of wide at the bottom and thinner at the top. So look, I'm going to go out, up, back down. If you can't do that in one piece, you might want to draw two curved lines on each side and then connect them. Whatever makes it easier for you. Now, here's the ears up here, so I'm going to go up to a point and then go back down. Same thing on the other side. Up to a point and go back down. Kind of like two big leaf shapes. Notice that that's where the head goes in right there. That's why I wanted that to be a little different shape, because it would really show the ears. Alright, so, and we need the neck. So down here at the bottom of the face, I'm gonna curve down and down. This is like a portrait or a picture of a person almost, because it's the picture of a bunny. So you can still see his body down to that point. It's almost like a photo. So, alright, now let's start working on his details. His eyes are just like a rainbow shape with a line at the bottom. And then I left a little white dot inside of them, and I colored them in. I'm doing this kind of quick, so I want you to be able to get on to drawing it for yourself. Trying to stay inside the lines. Now the nose is also important. It's like a U shape. And then you go down with a J one way and a J the other way. You really want it, you might want to even draw that a little darker so that once you start drawing your lines and shapes that it still stands out. Now, the rest of it is up to you, what you want your bunny to look like. I drew all sorts of different types of lines on mine. You can start with up and down lines. I broke up some of my lines and made short lines, like dotted lines. Maybe you might want to do wavy lines. Coming from one, notice I started on a line, like I started on his mouth, and then I just kept going. This is a really relaxing type of drawing once you actually get started on it, because of the, you're just sitting there just kind of thinking, what am I going to put on there next? What do I want him to look like? What's going to make him look neat? And this is for fun. Remember, if your first one doesn't turn out great, try it again. No big deal. Next thing you know, though, your refrigerator is going to be full of Easter Bunny pictures. I bet y'all are going to be dying some really cool Easter eggs, too. So, I want you to keep going. I want you to keep filling in your bunny with different lines and different shapes. So that's how I did on this bunny over here. I did his whole head, I did his ears, I did his body, and then I went back with a marker and drew some sunglasses on him. So that's optional, of course. You can do what you want to do. Maybe some heart sunglasses or just a cool shape like, let me find another color. If you start with a line in the middle and then a curve on each side, you want to make them about the same because sunglasses are symmetrical. That means they are the same on both sides usually. So then I'm going to curve around. Oh, my marker sounds terrible. So I just keep going until I get it about right. Now you can only see the frames of the sunglasses on the front. You can't see the ear holders that come back. So all you need is that part. So if you want to make yours a cool bunny, you can add sunglasses to it too, or glasses. I guess they're not sunglasses since they're not dark, but that's up to you. So you can add whatever you want to your bunny. So I would love to see some of your pictures, your sketches when you're done. If you want to, I have a new Facebook page just for art class. And so if parents, you want to get on and let your kids show me their artwork, I would love to be able to see what you're up to. And I miss all of you so much. So I hope that you're having a great time at home, and hopefully we will see you soon.